Let's talk about something we all have strong feelings about, our own beliefs. How can we swap out our existing beliefs for different, better beliefs? At will. Easier said than done, of course. We all know what happens to Indy after he makes this swap. Our story begins in the year of our Lord, 1705, with John Law, the son of a Scottish banker. He's an inveterate gambler, convicted of murder after dueling over a woman, and he is his era's most radical thinker on the subject of money. After escaping from prison, he runs around Europe pitching a new financial system to every monarch that will have him. Until he finally meets the French king, Louis XV, whose father has drained the country of its gold, and everybody knows it. It's the perfect petri dish for John Law's grand experiment. He has the king create paper money, a fantastical new idea, no need for gold, and then he makes it law that all taxes must be paid in this new money. It is the symbol of his new system. Money exists because we believe it exists. Secondly, he creates the state-sponsored Mississippi Company. There's a new world out there waiting to be exploited. With freshly printed bills in everyone's hands, the new stock prices go through the roof. John Law, an outlaw, becomes the Mark Zuckerberg of his day. This is, by all accounts, the world's first stock market bubble, and it collapses spectacularly. It takes generations for the French to recover. Some even blame the French Revolution on it. But John Law shows the world how to conjure an economy out of thin air by understanding how malleable people's beliefs really are. Jump forward to 1994. Brazil has suffered 2 decades of hyperinflation. Eggs that cost 1 cruzeiro will cost 2 cruzeiro a month later. People are devastated. The government tries everything they can think of to stop the inflation, but nothing works. But here's what does finally work. Brazil creates a virtual currency called the Unit of Real Value, or URV. It is 100% stable and 100% fake. All sticker prices in the store are in the fake money, and it's only when people check out that they pay with the old money. Until one day, the government turns the virtual currency into real currency, now christened the real. They just kill the old currency, and inflation ends. Because, after all, the real is stable. Overnight, people stop believing that their money is worth less tomorrow than it is today. So we return to our original question. How can we consciously change our beliefs to something we don't already believe? The Brazilians believed that inflation would continue, and so it did. But they aimed for something that would serve them better. Stability. So here's my central observation. We will our beliefs into existence. We aren't computers that weigh the merits of arguments. Perhaps the only way to change beliefs is to build on the desires that lead us to them. Of course, this can cut both ways. A while back, I had an 18-month-long debate with a creationist about evolution. I tried to convince him on the logic of Darwinism. He tried to persuade me it was just another faith system. But I began to understand why I'd never be able to persuade him when he'd say things like, "It is metaphysical folly to believe that it all comes down to random chance." To him, evolution was the equivalent to believing that there was no meaning to life. And given the choice, who'd choose that? In the spring of 2007, I attended the very first Obama rally in Oakland, California. You could hear murmurings here and there, people saying things like, "Do you really think Americans are ready for a black president?" Perhaps this seems a silly question today, but if you can remember, there was no evidence for it in 2007. We wanted to believe it, so we did. And then, everyone did. The same dynamic is true for depression sufferers who learn to think all kinds of destructive thoughts about themselves. I suck. I know what they're thinking. It's my fault. For a depression sufferer, the answer is to disbelieve their own beliefs. A depressed friend of mine has turned this idea into an iPhone app for himself. He's listed the ideas he knows to be distortions, and now whenever he thinks one of them, he instantly recognizes it there on the screen, and his app actually prompts him to change his beliefs to ones of empowerment. Here's a recipe for how this can scale. You start by changing the beliefs of one person. In this case, Ray Anderson, the founder of Interface, one of the world's largest textile manufacturers, and also for a time, one of the world's largest polluters. Years ago, he was asked by his sales team what his environmental philosophy was. He didn't have one, and this filled him with a desire to do better. Desire led to knowledge through eco-business guru Paul Hawken. Knowledge led to personal action as he persuaded his company that it was possible to have a profitable business that was also green. Action led to mass collaboration through a global campaign called Mission Zero, which spreads desire in businesses that they too can aim for zero environmental impact. We like to think we are rational beings, but let's face it, we are creatures of desire. It's no big secret how to hack a belief, as it turns out. Stir the heart, fix the mind. That's how we get ourselves off the cliff.